Hey everybody, my name's Eric, and I'm an alcoholic.
Let's go crazy.
You are now tuned in to Off the Record. Off the Record. Off the Record. Off the Record.
Off the record. What up, y'all? It's your boy DJ Hollywood, and you are tuned into another episode of Off the Record podcast, where we talk to the people behind the records, but it's off the record. But you get it, man. You get it. So I like to, to the beginning of this these episodes, I wanted to tap in with the well-seasoned and basically like the vets of the game, man, the people who've been doing this, and been holding it down. So without further ado, man, we have a good friend of mine, DJ Eric C, aka the Sober DJ, in the building.
What's up? Thanks for having me. By the way, congrats on DJ of the Year this year.
Yeah, no problem, man. Likewise, congrats on DJ of the Year as well. We got 2 DJs of the Year in the building under one roof, So, yeah, shout out to you, man. I know you got some gigs coming up tonight, yeah. So I'm going to, let's get right into it, man. So, DJ Eric C, man, where did DJing find you, or did you find DJing? Where did all this start from, man?
It started by accident. I was never going to be a DJ. I never planned on it. Long story short, I was at a private party where the owner was running the karaoke machine. He was running the bar, and he was cooking. And I saw it while I was drinking. This is back in 2005, 2006, something like that. And I was like, oh, because I love singing karaoke. I go, if I ask him if I could run the karaoke for the night, I can sing as many songs as I want.
Right.
So I naturally asked him, and he's like, yeah, of course. And he gave me the quick rundown. He says I did really good the next day. And so they offered me $50 plus all I can drink. And I'll be honest, I don't think I did that good. But I think I was cheaper than the guy I replaced.
That's interesting. So you started off as and this is a term for you guys, you started off as a VDJ.
Yeah.
Or is it a VDJ?
No, KJ.
KJ.
Yeah. But the crazy part was I literally, within my first few, maybe 2 weeks, I was copying somebody else's style where they play music in between and essentially in between rounds would just play songs, get people dancing. And the first time I got people up dancing, the hair on my arm stood up, and it was like an adrenaline rush and a high that I never felt before. And so therefore, I was like, I want to DJ. And I went to DJ school in New York City. It was called Dubspot because I had to learn how to do it as quick as possible.
Right.
A lot of
How long was the school?
The school was 6 months. I got to learn from the 2009 DMC World Champ, DJ Shifty, DJ Reborn, and DJ Smasherelli, who's a big-time tour DJ.
That's dope.
And it was awesome.
So what are some things they taught you at this DJ school, from like the basics to the technical stuff? Like what was it like?
Yeah, so the curriculum, they actually have a whole curriculum set out. First you start learning the stuff. You decide if you want to learn on CDJs or turntables. They had techniques there. And I decided I want to learn on turntables. So you get familiar with everything. Then they start showing you basics, like the dropping on the one, beat mixing, or beat match, or whatever you want to call it. And your tests were making mixes and bringing them in to play for everybody.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So
and
how
progressed?
So how does that's funny enough? So how, if you they didn't let you bring the equipment home then?
No, it was all there in stations, like a classroom. Like instead of a desk, you had a whole DJ setup with a computer. You didn't bring your own computer, and you'd show up, and it was like 5 to 7 people per class, and it was just a cool setup. I mean, you're in there, brand new DJ, and you're looking at the basic club setup, Technique 1200s with 900 in the middle, and it was just an all-around great experience. And then on top of that, the people you're learning from, when you realize who they are in the industry, like, it was just so exciting. It was an awesome time. And after the end of the 6 months, once you finish it all up, I had to go to New York City, by the way. I had to drive there every week, twice a week.
Wow.
And I would go down there when the 6 months was done. you had the basics down, you know it all, but you still got to go put your 10,000 hours in. You still got to practice. So I started practicing all the time, and yeah, we are with this one right now.
So till this day, because I know you rocking on a controller, you could probably rock CDJs as well, but and you know you said you learned on vinyl, but what is your preference?
So my preference actually is vinyl still. So I got I got everything. Cause I'm any DJ watching this or anybody who knows a DJ knows, you know, we're equipment nerds and we gotta buy everything that as soon as it comes out. So usually I'm using my Rain 12s if I'm and my S7 if I'm in my studio or if I'm at a big place that I want to bring it. If it's a smaller setup or if it's like a wedding, I'm bringing the Rep 7. You know, so I like turntables. I like the turnstile.
Yeah.
You know, turntable style better.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. So I know we're going back a little bit with this, but talk about because I remember in 2020, you know, when everybody was making the pivots and stuff, you were very heavy on Twitch and the Twitch trains. Is that what it was called?
Raid trains.
Raid trains. So speak about that and talk about your journey into the Twitch life.
Yeah. So we all started DJing on Facebook, right? Because we didn't know what to do, so you just DJing on Facebook. You couldn't go nowhere; everything was shut down. But we wanted to be in front of people. And as you kept getting kicked off Facebook, you kept hearing about this thing called Twitch, and also Mixcloud. And I started DJing on there, built up a following, started meeting some of my DJ heroes. Like one of my good friends is literally a celebrity DJ that I've been playing his music for years. You know, I've always had his remixes and everything. And now I'm friends with the guy. I've been to his house, and I got to meet so many different people.
What's his name? Give him a shout out.
Give him a shout out, DJ Beatbreaker.
DJ Beatbreaker. Shout out to DJ Beatbreaker, man.
Oh man, he's awesome. He's so humble, so cool, and you know, he offered me one time to. He was going to Miami because he gives a lot of his mixes to Paris Hilton, so he's going down to Miami to Club Live. He's like, "You want to go?" I go, "I can't go," and that's because I do have some legal issues with my drinking habit that I had that I no longer have. And so I was like, there's no way I could go tell probation that I was on at the time that I'm going to Miami to hang out with Paris Hilton and DJ Beatbreaker. Yeah. They'd be like, yeah, you couldn't come up with a better lie?
Yeah,
you know? Yeah. So I didn't even ask.
That's interesting. So the raid trains?
Yeah, the raid trains.
Yeah. So how does it work?
Yeah, so how it works essentially is somebody organizes it. You get a bunch of DJs to agree to a time slot. So maybe it's my time slot's 2 to 3, right?
Okay, so it's hour increments. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes 2, but usually hour. Somebody else is 1 to 2, and basically you have like anywhere from 5 to 10 slots lined up. Sometimes we do charity 3-day events, and that's a huge ordeal. But literally, when your time is up, your hour is up, you take your whole group that's in your chat into that next person's channel.
And that's a raid train. Okay.
That's a raid train. And now we're on Kick also, not the KIK version that you guys all were on when you were, you know, maybe watching 12 or 20 or however old you were when it came out, but it's KICK, so we're on Kick now as well. And I just got verified on there, which is awesome.
Nice. Congrats, man. And for people who don't know, how does one make money on Twitch?
Yeah, so it's all through subscriptions. You basically, the way to get subscriptions is A, be on there regularly.
Yep.
B, have emotes. You have emotes, and when people subscribe to you, they get access to your emotes. And if you have really good emotes that people want to use in other chats in other rooms, that's how you kind of keep them, you know, subscribed to you. And you know, I got people that have been subscribed to me for 24 months straight. You know?
Wow, that's dope.
Yeah.
So, do you have a pre-DJ routine, like something that you do before your DJ gigs all the time?
So it used to be dry heaving and playing I Am the Entertainer by Billy Joel. I did that for years. I have now since switched into more, since I got sober, I switched more into a get my mind right and kind of just take 5 minutes to myself to breathe, get prepared, get ready. But yeah, I definitely always have something. And if I were to change that, I'd just find a new ritual to go to.
Interesting. So, what about a DJ scare? You ever have does a story come to your mind where, it's like a DJ scare, like an equipment failure or something like that?
I have a reoccurring nightmare that I have a couple times a year that I am DJing and I don't start in time and I can't get the music to play, and the client, it's the same client, it's somebody I've never met, but there's a face to it every time, and I can't get the music to play, and no matter what I do, no matter what I try, and I get it fixed usually in the dream, and I still can't. Every time I hit the play button, nothing happens. I restart my computer, and then I usually wake up.
Oh my goodness, you're like, ah!
Yeah, it's a reoccurring dream, and
cold sweat in the bed.
Oh yeah, panicking, waking up like, okay, that didn't happen. That was a dream.
That's hilarious. So now, let's talk about it, man. You coined yourself the sober DJ, man.
Yeah.
And talk about that experience of going into being a sober DJ. And I say that because it's funny because I brought it up to someone and they were like, sober DJ, what is he trying to say? Like DJs just get drunk? So
yeah, no.
Talk about
Yeah.
You coming up with the name the sober DJ.
So during the pandemic, I decided to get sober. I realized, okay, hey, clubs are closed down. I can't leave the house. We can't leave the house. I actually also had just came out of jail because I took a plea bargain on my last DWI for probation and 120 days.
Wow.
And so I came home and I said, I don't want to drink no more. And I ain't gonna lie, I didn't stop right away because I had to go to treatment and all that and really work on myself, go to AA meetings.
Yeah.
And basically, while going to these AA meetings and these groups, they put a time limit on you, right? And it's because everybody has to have a chance to talk. And so one day when I finally got sober, it was day 7. I'll never forget, it was day 7 because that's my first video on the Sober DJ YouTube channel. Day 7, I was like, I didn't get to talk enough today. Screw this. I'm just going to make a YouTube channel and talk as long as I want about what I'm going through. And from day 7 through day 30, I did a video every day updating everybody on where I was at and kind of documenting it. And I called the channel Sober DJ. And it was just kind of like a thing, like, I don't think other people have to be sober. If you can handle your liquor and drink on an event, go for it.
Right.
I can't handle my liquor in life, so I definitely should not be doing it while working.
Yeah.
And so I became the Sober DJ.
And I know it's interesting that you said that, within the DJ culture, it's kind of a norm where, as you said earlier, you got $50 and they said,
all you can drink.
Drink all night,
Yeah.
And when it comes to entertainment, it's the social aspect of drinking is a norm,
Exactly.
So it's just crazy.
Like,
man. Go ahead, say what you was gonna say.
Think of another job, another industry where it's okay to put on your rider or on your deal to say, hey, I need a bottle of something.
I need liquor,
in my DJ booth when I start.
To get my job done.
Yeah, to get my job done. And they go, yep, sure, not a problem, the bottle will be there. And I can't think of another job where it's socially acceptable and almost expected. Because I always get asked, what are you drinking? And if it's a new place I'm at, I'm like, Red Bull.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's just a weird phenomenon. I've tried many times to think of another job where it's socially acceptable to drink.
That's actually very interesting.
Yeah.
If anybody could think of another one, drop a comment, man.
Besides bartender, because that's, bartenders also can drink, but besides bartender, think of another one.
But you made it to, I seen you posted on your channel, make sure you check out Sober DJ channel on YouTube. You made it to 800 days.
No, 984.
Oh, wow.
I was so close to
984.
I was so close to 1,000 days, and I was dealing with a lot of stuff, and I went into a gas station to get a Red Bull, and I was having so much anxiety that it was causing me pain on my side because I was tense for like a couple days, and I saw the beer cooler, and I had the Red Bull, and I looked at the beer cooler, I was like, oh, I can have one or two, nobody would know, it's gonna be between me, right? And then
Caved in?
And then I said to myself, and I said, no. And then I said, well, hold on a sec. I'm really having this issue right now. I can get the drink. I can tell people to be honest about it, and because I always said on my YouTube channel, if I ever relapse, I would tell everybody.
Yeah.
And then finally, I just said the last thing was screw it, and I grabbed 2 juices, and for 3 weeks I relapsed, and instantly realized this is not the life I want, because in 3 weeks a lot of things went wrong in my life. Just like that, it's like I picked up right where I left off.
Yeah.
And so I went back into treatment, and I'm in treatment now again. I do outpatient, and I'm sober again. Thank God.
Well, congrats, man.
Yeah.
Congrats. And you know, sharing something like that is very, you know, that's deep, man. That's deep.
Yeah, a lot of people. When I started the YouTube channel, for example, I was told by everybody not to do it. You could be ruining your career, and I said, well, I want to be alive, so if I ruin my career, who cares?
Right.
I actually got more support than I thought, and then next thing you knew, the channel started evolving into people, and you know, if there's anybody out there watching this, if you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me. I don't out people, but I go to meetings with people if they want to go to a meeting. But I, next thing you know, I'm not a trained professional, but I'm just telling people what worked for me, because I can't tell you what to do. I just know what I did to get sober.
Right.
And it's been an interesting ride, you know. And since I made a relapse video like promised, and I put it out there, and I got so much love and support. I didn't expect that. I thought I was gonna let everybody down, but instead people are like, no, we're in your corner still. We got your back. You did it before. You could do it again, and you can make it longer. And that was good to see.
Yeah, that's dope, man. That's dope. Well, like I said, man, congrats.
Thank you.
Because that's not something, you know, that's easy to, you know, look face to face.
Yeah, no. And you know, some people might say, you know, putting it out here right now again, what are you doing? Not everybody knows about why would you put it out here. It's like, because, you know, if I'm not holding myself accountable and staying true to myself, you know, then I'm just a hypocrite, you know, and I don't want to be a hypocrite, and I feel, you know, sure, I'm embarrassed to put it out there a little bit. I'm ashamed of myself, disappointed in myself, but I also know what I'm capable of, because I was able to do it for so long. I almost made it to the 1,000 days, and this time we're going to go past that. We're going to go way past that.
Right, as you should. We're cheering you on, man, for
Appreciate
sure.
it.
So now let's talk about the Albany versus Saratoga music scene, because I feel like that's a big debate, and you know, people saying where should I go out? Where's the party scenes? You know, and I feel like within Albany, the nightlife definitely died down as of right now, and it picked up in Saratoga. Yeah. So just talk about your experience, because I know you do Nashville and, you know, spots out there. So,
So I was, and if you remember, I was in Albany. I was always an Albany DJ, and then I made the switch to go up to Saratoga about 2 years ago when everything started opening back up. But I was in Albany, and you know, Albany just started shutting every place down and making it harder.
Crazy.
Just, you know, I mean, it's crazy. I can't think of a place you'd go to Albany right now that is a place that was around before the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
And the Albany scene's just kind of quieted down, and everything's now out in Troy and Saratoga.
Yep.
And it's funny. I'm seeing people in Saratoga that used to come out and see me in Albany.
In Albany, yeah.
You know, which Saratoga isn't really prepared for that, and they've been dealing with some issues. But I think they'll get the hang of it eventually. But it's the scene has definitely changed. I'm hoping it comes back to Albany, because that's where I live. And it'd be great to have some places open up and get the scene going again, or at least Schenectady, something down here closer for us all, you know.
Right. So I know you've been doing Frog Alley, the
Line dancing.
the line dancing, along with like Nashville.
Yeah.
So what clubs, weddings, or private events, what do you feel like is your like go-to, or your bread and butter that you just love and truly enjoy, and you can see yourself doing forever, more or less?
So obviously weddings, there's more longevity. You do that as you get older, because eventually, you know, who's going to want the 55-year-old DJ, 60-year-old DJ in the club, you know?
Right.
Maybe it can happen, because it is changing. I know some 50-year-olds and 50-plus-year-olds that are still in the club. I mean, look at me. I'm 40 years old, and I dress like I'm 22 because I got a gig tonight. But my bread and butter, first of all, is the wedding industry, because, first of all, one thing I like about it is you get hugs and love and people so happy that you made their day and you brought their vision to life and they're so appreciative where you can go to a club or a bar and you might rock it, but ain't no love at the end. A lot of times it's you
they
did
feel
your
obligated
job.
to hear good music there.
You did your job and here's your money. I do make close relationships with a lot of the owners of places, and but at the same time, it's like just nothing about like a wedding and having that grandmother who's 75, 80 years old come up and saying, "This is the best wedding I've ever been to, best I've ever been to." And you're like, I know she's been to a lot of weddings. She's 80.
Right.
So that's a good compliment. It makes you feel good, like you did the right thing, and you delivered.
Right. I agree, man. So now, what is your definition of a great DJ? What's your definition of that?
I would say my definition of a great DJ is one, first of all, who actually knows how to DJ, because we do know there's DJs that are out there that call themselves DJs and they don't DJ. I wish they'd be more honest with clients and say, hey, I just kind of fade in and out. Hey, not wrong with that. Like, if you can MC and cover it up and still rock a party and have a good song
keep the
selection,
sound going, right?
But there's a science. We all know there's a reason why we beat mix, because there's a science to keeping the flow going. I showed my wife this recently. She was running the photo booth, and I was there helping her run the photo booth because I never get a chance to really go watch another DJ. And I won't say the DJ's name, but he did a beat mix. And I showed her, I said, watch this. After every song, right, when he fades in the next one, because he just faded in and faded out, because it's a different BPM, they have to stop, reset, and catch the beat and start dancing again, right? And then she saw my event the next time and saw how that didn't happen.
There's a flow.
There's a flow, and there's a science behind it. So I think what makes a great DJ is one who can read the crowd, keep everybody entertained the whole time, pack the dance floor, no matter what setting you're in, wedding, club, small bar, whatever. If you can read the crowd, because I've always said it's 10% skill in my honest opinion, because the average person don't know all the tricks that we do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But what they do know is, are you playing the music they want to hear? So I think it's 10% skill, 90% reading the crowd and interacting with the crowd.
I agree, man. So outside of DJing, what do you like to do? I know I seen you with your dog before. I know you're a pup daddy.
Yes.
So
yes.
Outside of DJing, what are some things that Eric C likes to do?
So it's so funny. For if you've ever seen me DJ, I'm very I get the crowd going. I'm on the mic a lot. I like to stand on things. I'm known for standing on things and getting as high up as I can. But that's DJ Eric C. Eric likes to sit at home in a chair just like this, watching TV. I don't really like to go out unless I'm working. I don't, go to parks. I don't, a lot of times my wife's like, you want to come with me? I'm going to this. I'm like, no, I just want to sit here and watch YouTube all day. And, that's really me. And then, make content for the YouTube channel or stream. Like, to me, I it's so funny because DJ Eric C and Eric are two separate people.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you, speaking of your wife, how do you balance this, the work-life balance with, having to DJ these late-night gigs, and then, also, keeping the family kosher at home?
I keep reminding my wife that I'll retire at a younger age, and I will be home sooner. So right now, obviously, I got to give up all my weekends and a lot of nights during the week. So, we don't get as much time together, but I remind her that I don't have to work till I'm 65, the way I'm set up for my retirement now. I can, step back from the DJing or as, I have my company, so I got DJs that work with me and do events. I can start slowing my schedule down in the future. Just in the next 5 years is my plan to kind of slow down, do less events, and be more at home, while I'm still in my 40s, 45, being young.
Right.
And that's how I balance it. We have a good understanding, that, hey, we have our whole lives together, and the time will come when we get to go ahead and have all the time we want.
So, do you ever feel like you get burnout? And if so, what do you do to kind of deflect the burnout?
I go through burnout about every 2 years. And I've talked to other DJs. They say that's kind of about the same time for them as well. That's when you just got to take a break and go on vacation, or just literally say I need to reduce my schedule for a month or two. Maybe I can't leave totally, but reduce my schedule. And I try to do that over the wintertime, because you can't do that during wedding season.
Yeah, definitely not.
But during the bar and club season in the wintertime here, that's when I can take my time off. So when burnout starts to kick in, you can usually feel it, because it starts feeling like work. And that's one thing.
Sure.
That's one thing about DJing, is it never feels like work. They say find what you love to do. You'll never work a day in your life, and I truly believe that, and I feel that. But when it starts to feel a little bit like work, it's like, ooh, burnout's coming. So I know I got a good 2 months left before I'm like, we gotta shut it down for a little bit.
So now, do you have a favorite crate or a favorite genre that you love to spin?
Yes, it's in my bio on everything. I was born in 1983, so obviously I came up in the 90s, and the 90s, I think, and I have a valid argument for this, but I say the 90s had the best music, and people always go, no, the 80s or 2000s or whatever, and I say I can go ahead and prove it to you that you're wrong, because think about it, in the 90s we had hip hop, gangster rap, alternative, grunge, rock, punk. Country was really coming up at the time. You know what I mean? So we had so many different genres. Techno. There were just so much in the 90s that you can't actually, when you're doing a 90s set, like, you can go all over the place. Matter of fact, you can't even cover everything in the 90s, or all genres in the 90s, because it'd be a cluster, you know what?
For sure.
But I love the 90s, man. Everything, all genres.
I was born in '92, so I get the gist of it as well, and being a '90s baby, and yeah, man, the '90s music, R&B, hip hop, all of that, it's something that is very unique, and it's ironic that all of those '90s songs still get played till today, which is nuts.
You play. Obviously, especially us being here in New York, you play Juicy. I don't care.
Yep.
22-year-olds are singing it.
Yep.
You play, even some
Return of the Mac.
Return of the Mac.
Yeah.
There's just so
this
much.
This is how we do it.
People forget, Eminem came out in the 90s, in 99. Eminem songs. There's so much. And then you got that crossover to the early 2000s where crunk became a thing. Lil Jon blew up then. You had Yeah by Usher, and then everything else Lil Jon did. And that 90s into the very first few years of the early 2000s, like, that's just the best time of music.
I agree.
And Yang Twins.
Yeah.
Crunk.
Shake it like a soul shaker.
Yeah. I love playing crunk music still to this day, because it still gets people hyped. So
now, what's some advice you could give a upcoming DJ in how to build their brand? Because the Eric C brand is really good, man. You got mixed syndicates, like, you're doing your thing. Sober DJ on YouTube now, and I feel like you're very aware of your branding. So what's some advice that you could give a younger upcoming DJ?
I say, if you're up and coming, you got to post more than everybody else, right? Social media is there. You don't have to do it the old school way like we did, where we had to build a following and people had to know where you were, and you actually had to go hand out flyers. But I would say, your social media presence, and another thing, practice. Put your mixes out. Join Mixcloud so you can be sharing your mixes with people, so people can hear you. Right. So that way they get excited when you post a flyer saying you're going to be at such and such. They're like, yeah, I love their mixes that they put out. I'm going to such and such that night.
Right. So now, one of my last questions I normally ask people, man. So a lot of people discredit the importance and the impact of music. Yeah. So why for DJ Eric C, man, is it more than music?
It's more than music because music brings emotion. You control a crowd. I'll never forget the day Whitney Houston died. I was DJing. And so I switched up. It was a fun party. But everybody was so into it, and they turned the TVs on, because I was at a bar, and they were showing the coverage with the closed captions on, and I started playing Whitney songs, and really build into the emotion of that. And a lot of people say that was an amazing night, the way I handled it. I didn't just ignore it. We invoked emotion, and those people will remember that night because I didn't just skip over it and we played the Whitney stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? But music can control people. Like when you're sad, you could play. We all got our playlist. You're sad, you play one song. You know, you're in a good mood. You're in the car speeding. You're playing another type of playlist. and because music invokes emotion, I think it's very important that that's what music really is, because it can dictate how you feel, and it can also be good for you when you're in your feels.
I agree, man. I agree. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you for coming through, man.
Yeah.
Sober DJ. Make sure you stay the Sober DJ, man.
Yes, we are staying sober.
And let people know where they can find you on Instagram and check you out on YouTube as well.
Yes, obviously, so like we've said a few times, just look up Sober DJ. You can find my videos there. And on Instagram and everything. Instagram, Twitter. If you want to see me on Twitch live streaming, it's all DJ Eric _C. DJ Eric with a C. So DJ ERIC _C on everything. Also my Mixcloud if you want to hear some of my mixes. And that's really it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yes, man. Thank you for coming through, man, for sure. And you already know, man, I'm DJ Hollywood. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Drop a comment if you learned something new, or if you got a question for DJ Eric C or myself. And yeah, man, it's Off the Record Podcast, and see you next episode. We out of here, baby.
Later.
Phantom, let's go crazy.
You are now tuned in to Off the Record. Off the Record. Off the Record. Off the Record.
Off the record.